getting used to being sober. Something to the side. It was Monday at the Uptown. I was killing all my time. I was searching for salvation. She was seeking her revenge. Though it said it might be different if I passed this way again. I was in love but out of money, and I couldn't track her down. She don't like the summer, so I waited till the fall. She was tearing down the platform. By the time I found her door, at best I was a tourist.
Blues on the Hill, Lloyd Spiegel, welcome back.
How are you, mate?
I am wonderful. Congratulations on another fine new release, and great to hear you getting the Les Paul out.
Yeah, it's there's something special about that guitar. It's I had a couple of different guitars this time. I normally just roll in with whatever electric guitar has fresh strings on it, but this time I actually thought a little harder about it. And I brought my brother in to set up my gear, because he's a total gearhead. He loves all his pedals,
Yeah.
and I'm not into that sort of stuff. So he brought 4 or 5 different amplifiers and a bunch of different pedal rigs, and basically heard the songs and would put a rig together and go, right, press that, and then off you go. And so the tones on this are really nice, and there is something about that Les Paul that's just dangerous.
Beautiful, a beautiful guitar, and great to see you out there electric. Now we're featuring your new album. So I just did Rattle Your Cage. Tell me about that one. I love that track.
Yeah, that was like one of the the first or second song written for it. I got really inspired by the walkout staged by kids in the United States after the shootings in Florida, and decided to kind of write about that. I think as I get older, I start to realise that it's okay to use your microphone to say what you think. I've steered clear of that most of my career, but I decided just to say something, even though it's not saying a lot. And the track itself kind of just wrote in a few minutes. And pretty much everything on this album was written kind of quickly, because I think that you make sense of it later.
Yeah.
You just let it happen on a subconscious level, and then
It sounds angry. I like it. You can feel the anger in it. You can feel you're trying.
Yeah, a lot of that's Rob Dylan. Rob Dylan does a great mix, but he's pretty good at pissing me off in the studio. So no, look, I guess that each of these tracks I really work probably a little harder on than my previous records at pulling the actual tones I'm looking for, especially with my I've learned a lot more about the recording process and being able to actually match a reverb gate to a particular song based on your mood. I mean, that's something we didn't have access to years ago. We were able to, Rob's gear now, we can basically go to any studio in the world on the computer and pull whatever sound we want. So the sky was the limit there, and it does a lot for the emotion of a song to be able to make different noises.
Now you got the guitar, the fabulous.
I've got my guitar here.
The
yes.
fabulous signature.
The signature Cole Clark.
Are they
Yeah,
still
allowed to
selling?
talk, they're selling really well. Are you allowed to mention brands on here?
Of course you can
Lucky.
mention.
That's nice. They're going really well. Actually, this Saturday was the last gig for this guitar. It's going on the heap. As we keep changing the technology and advancing things.
So you got a Mark II model coming out.
Yeah, it's got a humbucker in it. We just put an electric pickup in it. So I've been waiting for all the bling to arrive from the States, and now all the bling's here, so I can play that new guitar.
What are you gonna do?
I'll do this is the last track on the album, so it's got Old Wounds. Ain't no living if it's made like this.
got no feeling in my fingertips. Burned by cigarettes, cut by steel. Old wounds never heal. Get no answer from a bleeding heart. Your mind and body feel worlds apart. There's no sense adding up the price I've paid. Old wounds, they never fade. Maybe I've come under fire, or maybe I'm lost. Maybe I'm caught on the wires I cross. Should take no comfort in a bended string. I make no secret I stole these things. And all I'm keeping now I've confessed. Old wounds and promises. Maybe I've come under fire, or maybe I'm lost. Maybe I'm caught on the wires I've crossed. Should take no comfort in a bended string. I make no secret I stole these things. There ain't no cleaning up the mess I made. Oh, they never fade. Oh, they never fade.
Absolutely beautiful stuff from Lloyd Spiegel there, and that just shows the diversity on the album.
Yeah, I can't write an album where all the songs sound the same. I've tried. I'm hopeless at it. My albums are not cohesive really, but I kind of like that about them because it's it's not just representing a point in my life. It's it's a year between albums. A lot of stuff happens in a year, so you got to jam it all into 10 tracks.
And you mentioned in the press release that this is a trilogy or part of a trilogy. So did you have all this sort of plan before you started?
You know me well enough to know I plan nothing, Baz. No, look, I guess it's because you're writing one album while you're touring the last one, and so they tend to speak to each other a little bit. Okay. And like I said before, you don't really think about it until it's all written and finished. It's not till you're driving around your car listening to the tracks you actually realise how far you've come since the last one, and where it sits with the last one. I think this album's a little more positive. I think it's a little bit motivational for me in a way, and I think it's better than my previous records in a number of ways.
We're talking about shows before. There's a very special show coming up on Wednesday, the 30th of October. We are having the very first Blues Music Hall of Fame ever in Australia, ever in the Southern Hemisphere. It is for Victoria, and we are inducting a damn good mate of yours, the wonderful Dutch Tilders.
Yeah, look, I'm really happy and quite honoured actually to be asked to induct Dutch into the Hall of Fame. I've been able to make speeches about Dutch in the past, and one was at his funeral, of course, and it was a very difficult thing. But it's also there's so much we all have to thank him for And you know, for him to be the first inducted into this Hall of Fame is absolutely essential, as far as I can see. So I just hope I'm going to get there and be able to do it justice and in my little spiel and not be too nervous. People assume that musicians are good at public speaking, but I'm once the guitar's not in my hand, I'm a bit rubbish at it. So I'm kind of going to be a bit emotional talking about my old mate, because Dutch was, you know, very much like a grandfather to me.
It's the legacy he leaves, you know, through you and Jeff and the mentoring, and you're carrying it on, you and Jeff carrying it on, travelling around the world, just, you know, putting it out there.
Yeah, but you know, Dutch was really particularly good at that. And Jeff and I are good at that too, and it's a really important part of who we are as artists. I'm sure I can speak for Jeff on that part, but Dutch had a really special way of doing it. It was much more of a baptism of fire with Dutch. You know, he'd really put you on the spot. Whereas I'm a little nervous to do that to young kids, but I was in many situations with Dutch Tilders where I was completely over my head, and he'd throw things at me that I just had no idea what to do with, and that's really how I cut my teeth. So he was the best there was at that, and on his night, the finest blues guitarist I've ever heard anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's happening on Wednesday, the 30th of October. It's at the Mimo Music Hall. Tickets are available on Try Booking.